Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brothers and sisters, and all our people watching us right now at the ISB and ISBC, all the media channels. Peace be upon you. So it's such a beautiful day, and it's a day that's marked major event in the history of our country. Um, whether let me put this first just before beginning, we at the ISB and SBC, we are a nonprofit organization, 501c3, and we don't take stands. We just it's a community voice. We represent all the voices in the community and in our cities. So this has to be clear, put on the table. So it happened today that our guest is Mayor Sumbul Siddiqui. Let me start by first thank Mayor Sumbul for being with us today, and let me introduce Mayor Sumbul. Mayor Sumbul Siddiqui is currently serving her second term on the Cambridge City Council and first as a mayor of Cambridge. Mayor Siddiqui grew up in Cambridge. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in public policy from Brown University. I envy you for this. And a law degree from Northeastern Political School of Law. Throughout her time as public servant, Mayor Siddiqui has advocated on behalf of the city's most vulnerable, strive to create more affordable housing, and protect households under threat of displacement from facing eviction and homelessness. Since becoming a mayor, and by the way, we at the ISB in Cambridge, we watched this marathon, and it was really a productive one. Since becoming a mayor, she has worked on preserving the city existing aspiring use affordable housing at the Fresh Bond Apartments, and has worked alongside the city managers in leading Cambridge community during the COVID-19 pandemic, which we're going to tackle today as well. Mayor Siddiqui, thank you very much. We really appreciate that during this time and today in particular, you're joining us live at the ISB. Thank you very much. And the episode title, they chose the title of USA New Beginning. And my title for this, USA, Let's Make America Great Again. So thank you for that. And let's start by first question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so today is a great day in the United States history. What was your feeling watching the new president inauguration today?
Yeah, what a day. And thank you so much for welcoming me to the show. The ISB community has been a huge supporter, and I'm so grateful to the community. So today, for me, watching it, I felt like, wow, a new day has come. And then also, wow, we have so much work to do. I think this is a beginning of a new chapter in our country. We've seen the last 4.5 years have been tumultuous. There's been so many concerns, but I felt like today we can look together ahead with hope. We can take the first step towards healing our country's division. And for me, quite personally, seeing the swearing in of, Vice President Kamala Harris, was just amazing. She's, the achievement that carries the weight of the work and the sacrifice of, every Black woman and woman of color and all women who have fought and continue to fight for recognition, for representation, for legitimacy in this country. And so that was a beautiful moment. And then, of course, the president's speech, really talking about unity, was very important. So I had put a message, back in November saying we can celebrate this win, but we have to also hold each other accountable for all the continual work that we have to commit ourselves to for our people and our planet. So I think the president said today, depends on all of us.
And on action verbs for a politician, successful politician like yourself. So what can we do? I know that to say one term for another president, ex-president. So, but right now, the work had just begun today. So we need to do something about the hope, the unity, the healing, so that this beautiful day will be another beautiful 4 years and a half till the next election. So As a politician, how do you envision that? What actions you will take?
Yeah, I think for me, the work that will come out of the White House, and from the president and vice president's office will directly impact our communities. So, whether it comes to housing issues, it comes to issues around race, it comes to issues around police reform. All of these things that are going to be now looked at differently, and new changes, whether it's voting rights. So everything that is to come from this administration is going to have a direct impact on our municipality. I think the first thing that's up ahead is the response to COVID, and the pandemic. It's been a year to almost fighting the pandemic, and still there's some light, but there's so much to go. And I think we at the local level have to concentrate on that. And I think I'm really excited for the new leadership that is coming to this White House, to both the offices, to the Senate, with the new wins and in Senate control. I think we'll be able to do much more than we have in the past. And so that's exciting. Like, I'm thinking about all the things that are coming, and it's so exciting. And I can talk a little bit more about the immigration specifics later, but I think all these things will hopefully unite the country and give people hope.
Perfect. So, what has been like to lead the city during this pandemic? Especially that you're like being a mayor and you're a first Muslim mayor, and then this is a challenge in itself. And then all of a sudden, like we have this pandemic, and you have to deal with multiple files that you weren't planned for. So, what happened? Share some
Yeah,
challenges with us. Yeah.
honestly, it's been no day has been the same, and that's what I realized. People are like, "Oh, do you have, what are your days like?" And my days really vary. I think when I was sworn in, January 6th, 2020, as mayor, that you're going to be doing many community events, right? You're going to be, um, really kind of doing fun things in a way. And
Spokesperson
that's
in the
kind of,
media doing this. Yeah.
yeah, holding babies, going here, going there, all these things. Um, and the pandemic hit, and everything just changed, right? And you go into crisis mode, and you go into crisis, leadership. And, me and my team had to really, switch, kind of scrape our dreams, right, for the year ahead, and say, okay, we cannot do any of this anymore because this is a historical event that we're going to be living through, and we have to pivot everything. So one of the first things we did was launch the Mayor's Disaster Relief Fund, and this fund has now it's raised $5 million, and that money has been directly going to our residents, to our businesses, to our arts organizations. We also figured out that this pandemic has allowed us to do things that we should have been doing before, and so that's also been, I think, one of the pluses of all of this. Like, we knew families didn't have internet at home, right? We knew that, but now that we are switching to remote learning, we said, oh, we have to get everyone a computer. We have to get everyone, internet. So we were really, we were making sure that happened quickly. But again, we could have probably done that in the past. And along the same lines, we knew that tenant rights and information was key, and that information was key. And so, we knew that all along, but this pandemic also said, okay, we're going to have to pivot and make sure that we can pass an ordinance, that a law that says, if you're going to evict someone, or if someone is signing a lease with you, you have to do this, this, and this. So there were a lot of things that we were able to do early on, and I'm really proud of the work that we have been able to do around the pandemic. It has been nonstop. My role as a mayor now, I'm the chair of the city council and the chair of the school committee, and both of these bodies, they are the policy arm of the city. And so we're also always looking at other policies. Some of that got delayed, of course, because of COVID, but it's been a nonstop time. So it's right now. Even though things there's a bright side, there are a lot of other things that are coming up. The vaccination piece will be really a big thing that my office is involved in the next few months, and the information about the vaccine and building trust in the vaccine. But it's been amazing to lead the city during this time, and I'm really proud that I am the first Muslim woman in this position in the state. And that has been meaningful too. I've had so many residents reach out who are Muslim, who it's the first time they're contacting someone in the city, but they can contact someone because they feel comfortable, and they know I'm looking out for them, and I can help them. So I take that role very seriously, and I wish in the only drawback of this whole situation is not seeing the constituents and the people. That's the best part.
So you mentioned something, Mayor Siddiqui, that about the migrations, and we know that millions of immigrants have been impacted by the previous administration's anti-immigration policies. And how do you envision the new administration will move on those immigrant challenges that are being created, and whether or not are they going to be reversed? Do we need like executive orders? They need that to pass through the court. So walk us through like how do you envision the new administration will deal with that? And is it like an easy ride or uphill battle or what?
Yeah, I think it still could be a challenge, but I think it's exciting that the president already signed the first of many executive orders, um, and is going to continue to do that to undo a lot of the controversial policies, such as the bans on travel to the U.S. from several mostly Muslim and African countries. There's an executive order on pausing the construction of a wall along the southern border. He has also introduced this agenda that really is that was not. I think the Obama administration didn't, wasn't able to move on it, but now hopefully this administration will. But it's really a comprehensive, really overhaul of the system, and they're calling it the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. And Biden will have to send that to Congress, and it would create an 8-year pathway to citizenship for nearly 11 million undocumented immigrants currently living in the U.S. It would assist the to Central America as part of an effort to address the root causes of migration from the region. It would also include something called the National Origin-Based Anti-Discrimination for Non-Immigrants Act, which would prohibit religious-based discrimination, and it would limit presidential authority to issue future immigration bans. And it would have, it's going to have, there's so much in this bill. It's so exciting. There's provisions to expand access to different types of visas, refugee admissions, other humanitarian protections, to improve our asylum system, and our immigration courts, which have been so undercut the last 4 years. And finally, it does have the bill that's proposed, 100-day freeze on deportations. We've seen such a horrible situation of families separated at the border. And so, we want to fix that. We have to fix that. And so there is a list of things that are going to be fixed and overturned. because these policies were very anti-immigration. And I think there's going to probably be, I think enough support to get, a lot of this, um,
Mayor Siddiqui, is it like
figured out.
on and off? Is it like on and off? So I mean that is it like signing executive order and then it's in place, or it will take time?
It's so there's like two separate things. So there's the bill mentioned. That bill is going to has to contain things, and so it has to be discussed by the Congress. And an executive order is basically a constitution. I remember from law school, and they give the power to the president to undo certain things, and so they carry weight, and so they don't have to be further. They don't have to go through Congress.
Hmm. Interesting. We hope that to see some of those fruits like on the first, I would say 4, 6 month, so that at least people will see some hope, as you mentioned. Yeah, at
Yeah.
least the travel ban. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So let's shift gears and talk about the COVID. And right now, we've been very, I would say, brilliant in the testing centers. So right now, I think we are ready for the vaccination. So what is the plan?
So, the plan is there's so much information about the plan, but what I can share with you is that we're still in phase one, and phase one is the healthcare worker and long-term care facility vaccinations. It's the first responders, and then it's the congregate care sites. This is the homeless shelters, jails. It's home-based healthcare workers. It's healthcare workers not doing COVID-19 care. And so that's phase one. So that's a big phase. And the city, so far under this phase, we have something that we implemented last week called Operation Nightingale. And it happened at the Galleria Mall in their parking lots. And over 900 first responders, so this is fire, police, they were all vaccinated. And so now the next step is these congregate care sites and home care, health, the way I've described it. And so some of that happens on site, obviously. And so that's phase one. Phase two is slated to start in February. And that's select patient, populations. It's right now we don't have guidance from the state just yet about you know there's educators, there's ages 75 and up, there's those who have comorbidities, that's it's like 1.9 million people, but what we don't know from the state yet is who's going to be prioritized within those groups. So we're still waiting on information around that. And then, of course, phase three is the general public. And so for the general public, we, as you've said, we have 7-day a week testing and sites. And so with the vaccine, essentially successful, and we're probably going to use some kind of use this structure to making sure that by mid-April, which is what's projected, that for the general public, the vaccine, we can get the vaccine. And right now there's two vaccines. It's Pfizer and Moderna. I think in a few months there's probably going to be more vaccines that are going to be approved. But right now the Cambridge Public Health Department is really focusing on increasing trust in the vaccine. We want a high percentage of vaccine participation by residents. And so between now and, through basically the fall 2021, we want to make sure that, we're getting the right messages out on the vaccine. We're going to have a vaccine call center. It's going to be fully staffed to take resident questions on distribution, on administration. Right now we have COVID testing inquiries coming in. We're also going to have focus groups, with particularly communities of color, immigrant communities, other populations at greater risk for COVID, and who may face barriers to the vaccine, right? Like the trusts. There's all these things that come with dissemination, and when you think about equity.
Awesome. So it looks like there's a great plan in place, and hope that you think by like the fall of 2021, everyone will be vaccinated.
Yeah,
Okay, awesome.
that's the hope.
So that's a hope. Yeah, I know that. I'm writing this down. So prior to us going live, there was a question that he said that this is the real challenge for all politicians. However, this is something that we don't have the right answer, but we have to work together as citizens so that we can move forward toward unity. So let me ask you this. How can Americans move past their differences and find a way to heal their divides? So what do you think? It is a fact. Half nations like going this way, half nations going that way. So how can like the leadership right now will take some decisions in this fight?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think we are inherently um, divided as a nation on various issues. I do think that right now what we can heal our divides over is, let's beat this pandemic. Let's focus on truth and fact. Let's really concentrate on things that there's a path forward on. Make sure we have the best vaccination plans in every state, every city. These are these things that are tangible that everyone, I think, can say. We want to get back to normal. I think that's one of the things that the administration is going to do from day one. For the past few years, especially this last year, there has been this big push away from science and facts, and so many conspiracy theories, and around COVID. I just remember when the last administration said, we're going to be done with COVID in 2 months. It's stuff like that. And I think even people who maybe believed it, after they lost a loved one, they have realized this has been a really, really hard. 400,000 Americans lost to COVID. Uh, and so I think that is one area where I think there can be some unity on. I think that hopefully this administration, and we heard it today in the speech, it is about unity. It is about coming together on issues that affect all of us, right? Whether it's the climate. We have a huge denial of climate change in the last administration, and I think climate is another area that I think factually a lot of Americans can get behind. That we have the experts, not NASA and others, saying we're creating more harm to our planet. So finding the commonalities, whether it's also housing issues. I think that the fact that um, you know I think many Americans have said housing is a basic right everywhere, and I think the investment that this administration hopefully will put into housing and affordable housing for all our communities is going to be critical. So, for what I say is, it's going to be hard to divide, to unite. But the way I think this administration will be able to do it is to come around the things that we have the most in common. Obviously, there's issues around race and white supremacy, and what happened at the Capitol that even many people who I think were supportive of the last administration said, that should not have happened. And so we are seeing more and more people say, you know, we need to root out things like that that divide us so plainly. Um, so those are some of the things that I think that we will be able to um, really get behind.
I agree with you. So, like, the vision is easy. However, uniting people is the mark of a leadership. So, the leadership will definitely get this sorted out and will heal this nation back again. So, one final question for you before like letting go for your evening. So, with so many challenges and struggles nowadays, what personally gives you hope? Why didn't quit?
Yeah, for me, what gives me hope, quite simply, is the resilience I see in the residents, in families, and people, and in young kids and children during this really hard time. I'm very fortunate to have a great team at with my office, and we are really committed to helping residents through different any issues that come their way. Whether it's related to unemployment, related to vaccine questions, related to housing. We're there to help, and so that gives me hope that there are things that we can solve and work together on, um, because it is really hard these days, and so you want to give people hope and help.
Awesome. So, at, at the end, please convey a token of gratitude from our community, from the ISB Cambridge and the ISBC, to your team. We've been witnessing a tremendous work day and night, and they've been very, I would say, responsive to our requests and to all the demands and open channel communication. They come to visit us, and definitely our community find, I would say, people to talk to whenever like issues comes to their minds. They've been like you and your team are very close right now. So please convey this token of gratitude to them, and would like to thank you, Mayor Siddiqui. We applaud what you are doing, you and your team. The Mayor Disaster Relief, we've been watching this growing from very small fund up to 5 million. So this is a great achievement. Please keep doing that, and we're supporting you. Thank you very
Thank you
much,
so
and
much.
thank you for having being with us, and have a good night. Thank you, Mir
You
Siddiqui.
too. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.